Oh, hello, 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 beautiful and amazing people. So, I'm not streaming Borderlands 3 today because I just kind of wanted to talk about some stuff about what I've gone through recently, stuff that they don't really talk about within the trans community, and yeah. Uh, Whoops. Um, and just kind of things that I've learned over my transition because I'm coming up to a 1 year point where I've been transitioning for a whole year, or well, a year and a half actually. My 1 year anniversary was a couple months ago, but yeah, so for a whole year and a half. So, um, so yeah, I don't really know where to start. I of course don't script any of this. Um, so, oh come here. Whoa, okay, that was gonna bother me. So I live in the South. I live in the River Valley. And we've recently celebrated Christmas. And something that, a lot of people have to deal with is the holidays. Um, Something that I really hate about just existing as a queer person in general, but especially as a trans person, is the fact that my existence is political. You know, my family can meet up even when I'm not there at all, can be having a good time, be having dinner, all this other stuff, and then someone talks about me, uses my proper name and pronouns, and it counts as a political statement, and somehow counts as a political statement, and counts as like a direct endorsement of the transgender agenda. And on top of that, it's enough to start a fight, right? And it gets blamed on me. I wasn't there. I didn't do anything. I had zero hand in this. And yet somehow it's still treated as if it's something I've done? And that sucks. My existence shouldn't somehow be a political statement. What in the world is going on with my stream? Hmm. I need to check my stream quality real fast because it looks like there is some issue going on. And I don't want to have that. Okay, fixed. Man, I look bad from the side. But yeah, I hate that. I hate that just existing is a political statement. And I hate that, I dislike the fact that so much of my life as a trans person has to be lived around other people. There's all these things about people are like, oh, we're afraid of having trans women in the bathroom. Oh, we're afraid of this. Oh, what about this? What about that? And it's like, as a trans woman, I'm already uniquely aware of a lot of this. Whenever I go into the bathroom at like Walmart or something, I try to avoid all the other women as much as possible. If I don't feel like I passed that day for whatever reason, then I will just actively skip on using the bathroom because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And I'm constantly doing stuff like that. And that's just kind of the expectation for a lot of trans people. And a lot of the trans community doesn't talk about just how much of our existence is really lived around keeping everyone else happy. And I hate that. And something else we just don't talk about is the schism that exists in the transgender community. Like, I don't see trans men represented much, if at all, especially not through self representation. But if I bring this up, it's gonna create an argument with someone. You know, I might get some comments from trans men talking about how I'm being a bitch. I need to get back in my place. I need to not speak for them and stuff like that, which I'm not even trying to do. I may get, some comments from trans women saying that, like, well, they can do their own thing. It's not our fault they're not doing all this other stuff. And it's like, I'm not laying the blame at your feet. I'm not laying the blame at any of our feet. That's not what I'm doing here. It's like whenever point out some kind of systemic oppression with the way white people are always given everything on a silver platter, which, not gonna debate that, we fucking are. And then my mom freaks out and starts trying to prove that she's not racist. And it's like, Mom, I'm not blaming you for systemic oppression. You're just one woman. That isn't anything you and I are doing alone. Sure, we might accidentally partake in it without realizing it. Everyone has, I'm sure, if they're white and especially in the South. That doesn't mean that you directly are racist. There's a huge difference between individual racism and systemic racism, and it's the same thing here. There's a big difference between an individual person taking actions that harm the rest of the trans community, and then just the blatant fact that there is a portion of the trans community that just gets overlooked. And trans women really do take the center stage in so much stuff. When people are talking about bathroom bills, they usually bring in a trans woman. When you hear that there's going to be a trans person going somewhere doing something, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a trans woman. And there's a lot of reasons for this, like, there's a lot of stuff that happens with AFAB individuals, and I've talked to trans men about this, but like, a lot of AFAB individuals realize they're trans later than a lot of trans women because there's just so much different stigma around exploring sexuality, exploring identity, and etc. for those that are born and raised AFAB. We owe better to AFAB people in general, and we owe better to trans men. We should be working to uplift each other as a family. But every time I look on fucking trans Twitter or go onto various subreddits, I just see so much petty infighting. And it's like, there's this guy I talk to on trans Twitter. He and I like to troll the GC Turf crowd a lot. And he's a trans dude. He and I have very different ideas about several things, right? Cool thing is, I have a great deal of respect for him. He is a awesome, very intelligent man. He and I have different opinions. I don't want to shove him under the carpet. I want to seat him at the table with me that way I can hear his side. I want to hear the nuances of his ideas. I want him to critique my ideas. I want to talk with him and have a conversation because he and I are both fighting the same battles, even if we have different opinions on the overall optics of it, right? Like, we could be accomplishing so much better if we, as a community, stop doing all this petty fighting and stop being so fucking defensive about every small goddamn thing and just talk to each other. You know? Jesus. And no one ever really talks about the amount of infighting that exists within the trans community, and it sucks. It really does. We're all presented as either this great big happy family, or if you're a trans medicalist, it's seen as, oh, we're a great big happy strong family, but we need to keep out all these other people that are trying to infiltrate us that are just too cute, trying to take advantage of our oppression brownie points. And oh, the straight cis people are gonna see all the too cute and shit, and they're gonna use it to misrepresent us and to hate on us and all this other stuff. And it's like, honey, sweaty, they're gonna do that anyway. You can't try and kiss ass to the oppressor. That's not how that works. If you want to kiss ass to the oppressor, go and find a dom and let them oppress you for a bit. Because at least with them, you get a safe word. I just. And maybe it is me to an extent, because, like, I'm that southern lady, right? I want to have a table full of people I can cook for. I want to be taking care of others. I want to sit down and talk to people. When people wake me up at night to vent, to talk, and all this other stuff with Tran, I don't get upset. I don't sit here and complain, oh, I didn't get any sleep last night because there was some kid that wouldn't let me sleep. It's like, no. I had a fucking kid that's going through a tough time that trusted me and reached out to me. That way we could talk and I could help them through some dark stuff. And that took a lot of freaking courage and strength to do that. And I am honored. And that's the way I see the rest of the trans community. I don't see them as children, but I see them as a bunch of people that are going through a whole bunch of tough, hard shit. And instead of all of us working together and trying to uplift each other and trying to help each other and have each other's backs, we're shitting on each other and we're acting like a bunch of freaking. Yeah. And I don't want that. I want to work together with people. I want us to talk. I had an argument with a GC individual yesterday. I made an accusation against this man because I had gotten him mixed up with another individual. There was another account that I was following that, this individual that I was tracking at the time, they would do this thing where they would have an argument and then they would claim to be either a cisgender man or a cisgender woman, depending on whatever the argument was and whatever would further their argument, right? But in the bio, they clearly stated themselves as a man. And I got this one GC individual mixed up with this other individual. And whenever I realized I had gotten them mixed up, I immediately came clean, even though I knew that, the GC people would use this as a reason to shit on me. I immediately said, hey, just FYI, I just realized I'm actually incorrect on this. I got this wrong. I made an accusation, and it was wrong. Here's what happened. And of course, they use that to shit on me. But I view owning up to your own mistakes, no matter how small, as a point of pride and honor. If I make a mistake, I want to fix it. Not because I have to, not because it'll further my position, earn me brownie points, nothing like that. I want to do it because I'm tired of being a fucking liar. I live so much of my life lying to myself and others as a coping mechanism to try and protect myself. And it was a survival tool whenever I was in an abusive home, because it's like, oh, do I tell the truth and get my ass beat and, have all kinds of other shit happen to me? Or do I just tell them what they want to hear? That way I can go to my bedroom and read and play video games. If the electricity was on. And so I view that as a point of pride. And I think I just realized I turned my mic off. I hope that hasn't been off for a long time. If it has, please tell me in the chat. Um, and I view taking responsibility for that kind of stuff as something important, something that you need to be able to do as an adult, because that's the only way you can ensure whenever you get your data and information wrong that you can grow as a person. I work medical. Things change, okay? No matter how set in stone it is, or you think it is, no matter how black and white you think it is, things change. And it's okay for that change to happen. And it's okay to make a mistake. I used to be an alt-right little shit. I was stupid as hell, okay? I am never going to hide that fact because I take great pride in the fact that I've grown from that. I have a nice keen eye in detecting alt-right bullshit because I used to spew that same bullshit. You can take pride in your growth. And if someone wrongs me, and I don't think that they're doing it intentionally to harm me, I am going to offer them a hand and let them know how they wronged me, and I'm going to offer them a place where they can talk, where they can apologize, and where they can grow. And I've made a lot of friends that way. And I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say very stupid stuff. I'm probably going to say ableist stuff in the future. I'm a white bitch from the South. I'm probably going to say something that is unintentionally racist or homophobic. Stuff happens, mistakes happen. Whenever I do those things, which are more than likely going to happen during my career as a content creator, I'm not going to sit there and hide behind it and double down on my bullshit and try and say, oh, none of that could have happened. I can't be phobic, whatever the fuck, because I'm queer. It's like, no. Shit happens. You make mistakes. That's okay. Oh, I said this thing and this thing is phobic towards this group. Cool. Let me talk to the people from that group. Let me find out how. Let me find out the implications for what I said. Let me learn and let me take pride in that and let me show everyone else who thought the way I did these new bits of info I have. That is an incredible fucking thing. And I'm so tired of seeing people make honest mistakes on trans Twitter in the trans community and then everyone else lump onto them. There's a huge difference between people that are honestly well deserving of being canceled, which, by the way, if you believe in cancel culture, you're kind of stupid. Cancel culture doesn't work that way. People are just finally facing consequences for their actions. Rich white men don't deserve, immunity from bullshit. But yeah, there are people that do definitely deserve to be canceled for being shitty people and doing stupid stuff. But whenever someone says something very fucked up, like, oh, trans men need to shave off their fucking neckbeards. Yeah, that person is stupid. Fuck them. It doesn't mean that they're advocating for the death of trans men. And no, by the way, trans men don't need to shave their neckbeards. I don't care what your personal stances are on someone having facial hair, but for a lot of trans men, having facial hair is the only thing that lets them pass. In addition to that is a source of euphoria for them. And we shouldn't sit here and police each other's bodies. You can call it unhygienic if you want. People have been saying that women having leg hair is unhygienic, and it's bullshit. And it's not unhygienic. If you're clean, if you're taking care of yourself physically, I don't care if the only beard you have is right here and you shave everything else. And it's nice and long and luxurious and weird. Go for it. We need to stop policing each other's bodies. We need to start taking care of each other. I know this has gotten deep and has just been me going on a rant. With Tran, I see so many people that are at risk. And so many people that join the trans community who are just finally opening up, and they've avoided the queer community and a lot of other communities for a long time for various reasons. And once they open up and once they get out there, the first thing they're met with, because they have no knowledge about various bullshit that we go through and all this other stuff and different terms and implications and all this other stuff, and they get attacked. And it reminds me of whenever I first started questioning my gender, and the first people to talk to me were True Scum. And they asked me how my questioning was going and all this other stuff. And then instead of giving me space to grow, instead of giving me space to ask questions, instead of giving me space to just kind of learn, instead they took everything I said and everything I had said and they criticized it with an incredibly fine-tooth comb. And they were sitting there telling me that I'm not really trans, that I'm just a trender, and that I should kill myself. That hurt a lot whenever I was first coming out as trans. I don't even want to know what it would have been like if I came out on trans Twitter instead of Reddit and other stuff. If you're seeing this stream, I just want you to know, if you ever want to ask fucked up weird questions, honestly, and you're not asking them to be a bitch, you're not asking them to be a dick, you're not asking them to hurt people, I am willing to answer those weird fucked up questions. Or I am willing to help you find people that will help answer them for you. The world is a dark fucking place. There's a lot of people out there that are racist, that are homophobic, that are just very stupid. And none of us is perfect. I just want to try and make the world a little bit better and a little bit brighter for those that come after me, you know? I guess that's just more of me being the whole southern mom friend. Pull up a chair, y'all. Go make us some fried chicken. And no, I ain't about to start using my accent on stream. Ain't no one gonna like that. And it ain't cool for no one, though my girlfriend does think that my accent's a little hot. I don't see how she thinks that, but she do be thinking it does be kind of weird. So I'm gonna switch back to the cadence that I use professionally, and not that I use whenever I'm talking to other Southerners in a casual context. Skull. I have a kitten in my lap, and he is very clingy and very wanting of attention. So, some things that I've learned on my trans journey that I think other people should know about is one, if you're going to start transition, go ahead and look for informed consent clinics near you. That lets you avoid a large amount of the hoops that you have to jump through. In addition to that, find a mom friend in the area that you can talk to and can help you do stuff. Like, I'm always willing to take my friends, even if I can't afford it, I'm willing to go shopping with them and help them pick out clothes and help them get stuff they need and help teach them how to cook and how to do other stuff. Yeah, that helps a lot. Um, find a therapist. Transition is tough, and a lot of what you go through will be made easier by having a therapist. another general thing that I learned as a trans woman is that a lot more women support us than you think. Like, again, I live in the South. I can travel 30 minutes and get to a town that is considered one of the most racist spots in the US, where they have signs up that are very alt-right, very anti-black, etc. I forgot what I was saying. Crap. Oh, Skull, you're too adorable. You're draining all my brain cells. And I know you have the other brain cell. Um, crap, what was I saying? If you remember what I was saying, please drop it in the chat. um, hmm. Well, crud, I don't remember what I was saying. Hmm. Right, right, right. A lot more people support you than you may think. Um, and as a trans woman, I've learned that a lot more women support me than I realized. Uh, Again, I live out in bumfuck nowhere in the South, and I can't even drive to work without seeing at least someone with a Trump flag, bumper sticker, etc. Fuck Trump, by the way. Um, but whenever I came out at work, I was expecting a lot of harassment, a lot of pushback, stuff like that. Instead, what I found out is I'm not even the only trans person in my department, let alone the whole hospital. And a lot of the women that I work with, especially the older women, actually organized a behind my back clothes drive where they all talked to each other and they all basically gathered a large amount of clothes for me that I could try on and wear and figure out what my sizes were and all this other stuff. And they even created like a little list of things and ways to protect myself. Like, oh, here's some things you'll need to watch out for as a woman. Here are some safety tips. Here are some general things to carry with you. That way you can help other women, stuff like that. You know, things that I may not have learned as someone that grew up as a AMAB individual. Like, oh, in your purse, carry a couple extra tampons and pads. That's just a thing to do. It lets you help other women that may other women. It lets you help other individuals that may menstruate, but especially women that you meet in the women's restrooms who may not have access to those kinds of things, whether because they're not present or because they can't afford it. And that lets you extend a hand of sisterhood to them. And yeah, the amount of transphobic people that I thought I would have at work, I thought I would have a significant amount of people that just did not support me. Instead, I've had 3 or 4 people that don't support me out of the entire hospital that I know of. And then everyone else basically rallied around me and was like, no, you don't get to mistreat them because they're trans. And if you do, we're going to stand here behind them. We're going to stand here with them and we're going to have their back. And that changes a lot of the perspective you have. Whenever you have a group of people that honestly have your back without asking anything in return, it gives you a new perspective on stuff, you know? Sure, I hate capitalism and I hate work, but like, I'm more than willing to pick up extra shifts if it means that some of my coworkers can go home to their family and spend time with them just because I'm so thankful for them. And you know, I thought a lot of what the turfs were saying was true to some extent, that, you know, a lot of people are just secretly gender critical and secretly, you know, turfy, stuff like that. Turns out that's very wrong. Like, even some of the people that I work with now who don't realize I'm trans, like, even they, in secret, are very non turfy and are like, God, those people are so weird. Why would they just react like that? It's like people just want to pee. And it's like, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This whole stream was just me rambling. I worked Christmas at the hospital, found out that there was a small schism in my family because someone used my proper name and pronouns and someone else got very angry and stuff like that. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. And I'm not going to sit here and take responsibility for that. I wasn't there. Someone respecting me is not disrespecting you. Get used to it. I'm queer. I'm here. I'm not fucking going anywhere. And history is full of incredibly adamant women that refuse to be pushed under the rug. I don't know if pushed under the rug is a non Southerner saying. Then again, we got a lot of weird sayings. Actually, my favorite saying is saying that I'm about to beat someone like a dirty chicken. God, I love that one. Or, I love that one. Good God. To whoever is still listening at this point, I just want you to know that you're going to be okay. I love you, okay? Thank you for just listening to me ramble and rant. Thank you for just being here with me. And thank you for existing. That's important. Just existing is important. I love you. And we're going to make it through this together. And also, to anyone, like if my career does take off and I actually am able to become a real content creator, if I say any stupid bullshit, talk to me about it. I'm not going to double down on it. I'm going to explain why I said what I said or did what I did and my understanding of things. And then I'm going to listen. And as long as you're not coming in to cause actual harm or anything, then I want to create a space at the table to hear you and get the nuance of everything. Hey, thanks for following. You're awesome. Um, but that's the kind of person that I am, you know? I want to learn and I want to do better because I take a lot of pride in being the internet mom. On one side, I am definitely still trying to become the internet's number one e-thought. But then on the other hand, I also really want to become the internet's mom. I want to become the internet mom, the people that turn to whenever they need a mom friend, you know? And I just want to make it so that whoever comes after me, whoever goes through the same road that I'm going through, I want to be able to point out the potholes and be like, okay, this one right here, be careful, it's kind of deep. This one right here, it's not deep, but it is kind of wide, so you're going to want to go around it instead of try to jump it. Stuff like that. I want to help people avoid that shit. Just like whenever I see people developing right wing tendencies, I'll point out to them, hey, I used to be a Nazi. Here's some stuff to avoid. Here's the same rhetoric that was used to get me into that mindset whenever I was like 11 and all that stuff. Please avoid it. It takes years of therapy to get out of it. Let's not do that. So, yeah. I want to help people not go through the stuff I went through. And I want to provide them the space to learn and grow so that they can be better than me. And then I hope that they stand on my shoulders and that all things combined, they can reach and go a lot further than I ever could. And then once they've gone further than me and they have their own little solid base, they can reach back. And if I'm still alive, they can help me get to their point. And I hope that they can help those that come after them get even further. That's my whole worldview summed up in one description. I want to help each generation go further than I could and do better than I could. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what's in your genetics. I don't care about your chromosomes, what's in your pants. We're all humans and we're all on this rock together. I'm just worried about those that come after us. I don't want them stuck on this rock like we are. And I think that's worth fighting for. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I love you all. You're amazing. Thank you for watching. Um, if you want to support me in what I do, please go ahead and follow me on Twitch, like Kurt Angle 1996 did. Which again, thank you for following me, Kurt. Um, you can go and look me up on Twitter, Instagram, etc. I always use Bryn the Valk. Bryn underscore the underscore Valk. Um, I have a second Twitter account called Bryn the Not Safe for Work or Bryn the NSFW. That's going to be the Twitter that I use for my more adult content. For those of you that don't know, I'm working on my way to 160 pounds. Whenever I started transition, I was over 300 pounds, and I am at 194 this morning. And I'm very close, and so I wanted to document this last stretch. Once I reach 160, I do intend to start putting videos and stuff like that up on my OnlyFans. I do have a series of videos coming out called Trans Tips that I'm working with my new video editor, which I finally got. Hell yeah. So yeah, we're going to be putting that out. So if you have anything that you want tips on, if there's anything you want advice on, anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me. I will not only answer to you in public or in private based on where you ask the question, like if you message me on Discord or Twitter, wherever, I'll answer you back. But then I can also make a video covering that topic that can possibly help someone else. And I don't have to out you by doing that. Like, I'd like to say, oh yeah, so and so asked for this. I can leave that blank, and that's totally okay. We're all gonna get through this together, okay? I love you. You're awesome. If you haven't eaten and drank today, please make sure to do that. It's important. I care about you. I want to make sure that you're well fed and hydrated. Please take some time to do self care, even if it's something super small and you don't have that many spoons. I'd really appreciate it. I trust you. You're gonna be okay.